I want to have a good session. I want to have a really good training hit out, but I'm just not going to try and make myself vomit every Saturday morning. It's not what I'm about anymore. And that was a really good reminder for me as well that you don't have to flog yourself every session. And you talk about this a lot where there's a range that you can train to, and we tell our athletes to train in the range. And if you feel good, you can go to the up end of the range, but you definitely don't have to do that every session, and you won't lose much fitness, going at the lower end of the range or just getting through it. And that was a good thing to experience, just not having to flog yourself and really enjoying the session. And most importantly, it means that you're not so exhausted that you're actually not looking forward to the next day's session. I find if I go so hard on a Saturday morning, I actually really don't look forward to the Sunday long run. Whereas if I've run solid, I feel like I can run the next day.
Yeah, it's so true. And during the COVID period where there's no races, you're actually looking forward to the very first race. And then all of a sudden, all the races are available and you do 5 out of the first 6, over in a period of 2 weeks, and then you're back in that over raced again.
Yeah.
What you say is a really good point.
Yep. So on that note, we'll get into the topic of today's podcast episode, and that is how to approach the holiday period. So I want to start off and just ask you straight out, how do you personally approach this period?
Over the years, my philosophy has definitely changed, because when I was younger, and almost what we talked about in what's caught your attention, your topic and my topic, I was in this category, was holidays as a teacher, 6 to 8 weeks, what an awesome period I'm going to have of training. And I would start out with just massive volumes of training and hardly any variety in the intensity. It was just go long and go hard for the whole period. And I couldn't wait to get the holiday period started and do as much training as possible and expect to be tired. And it's okay because I don't have to work. I can just rest in between. And to a certain degree, that's okay to do that. But there will be a point where you will start to go backwards because the fatigue level is so high from the amount of time you've been training that, you can't wait for the holiday period to end. And that happened to me year after year. And eventually I got smarter as I got older, and like the analogy we used before, when you've come back from injury and illness, just jumping straight back into it is not the way to go. When you've got a big period of holiday time, start off nice and easy and build just like you would do in a training session. Start off a little bit conservative and finish strong. So the analogy over a 2-week period, a 4-week period is the same. Don't do your best training in the first 3 days and then spend the next 12 days really, suffering from what you've done in the first 3 days. So, get to your holiday destination, short ride straight away, tap away, or short run. Next day, a little bit more intensity, but not much. Examples like that, and you progressively build your way into the holiday program. And sure, you need to still do the hard intensity stuff, and you've got more time to do extra volume, but that's the approach that I eventually took, and really look forward to it more now than ever. Then I've got to be patient. I've got this 2 or 3 weeks here. I've still got my main sets to do, following my program, but all the extra stuff that I've got time to do was all easy. Every single one of it. And if I ended up meeting some friends who wanted to ride extra stuff with me, the minute they half-wheeled me, I let them go. And they were forever turning around going, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, I've done my session. This is just recovery." And I'm happy to let them go. I'm not going to be a sheep and just do what I used to do. And, here's another group of riders. Let's ride with them flat out. And then we meet up with someone else. Someone wants to go hard there because they've just joined the group. They're fresh and everybody follows them. It's just a recipe for disaster. And so that's how I now approach the holiday period. It's a great opportunity because you aren't working. You've got lots of time to rest. You've got lots of time to enjoy socialising. Get your training out of the way and enjoy the day as a family or as a group of people. If it's not a family, just a group of friends. Enjoy the period with your training done and not have to worry about, I've got to do this training session, so therefore I can't eat or drink or do things. And my philosophy is get up early, even though it's a holiday and you should sleep in. But I was quite happy to know that I could rest or even have a sleep during the day if I wanted to on the beach, knowing that I wasn't going to be very taxing during the day. I was happy to get up at 6 o'clock and have my session done by 8:30, get back to the house, and most people are just getting out of bed. So it was a really good system that I got to do, especially when you kids were younger. You didn't even know that I'd gone training half the time.
Yeah. Is that something that you recommend everyone approach it the same way now?
Oh, most definitely. If you do the old method, there is only one result, and the fatigue factor from your holidays could actually derail your season. Instead of actually setting it up, it could massively put you in a hole of fatigue. And if you overreach, you could be out for 4 to 6 weeks of no training because your body is not coping, and you actually have to stop training just to let everything in your body realign and get back to normal levels.
So let's talk about that balance a little bit, because you are basically saying that you can go longer but not harder. So you can definitely do more duration, but the main sets have to be the same. The extra duration has to be easy. But you've also got more time to recover. Like you said, you're spending the day with family at the beach, you can relax, you can have a sleep, you're not going to work and exhausting yourself, as they say, burning the candle at both ends. So in that sense, can you actually afford to go harder for longer, but you have to not do it to you overtrain, or the main sets are still what your body's capable of?
Well, as we've talked about many times on our podcasts, the 3 hard sessions in a week generally, and one of them, the endurance ride, has a hard section in it, and that's the time where it's almost like a freebie, a free ride, and that's the time where I would say if the whole session's wanted to be hard, fine, make it as hard as you like, because that's the day where you want to have fun. The other sessions midweek, if you did that continuously too much, it would eventually hurt you as well. But to have that endurance day where, if you've done plenty of pre-building to that period, I can still remember thinking, right, we're going to Queensland. I haven't done much training. I've been working a lot. Kids have been busy. But the first ride, I'll be right with 120, 130, 140K. I'll be fine. Well, the longest ride I'd done was 60. Why would I think that I would be fine to do 120? Well, of course, I'm thinking I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this 30 or 40 years. So haven't I got something built up in my base? My bank is full of endurance. Well, you still can get through it, but it will just create so much fatigue for the next few days that it's detrimental to what you're trying to achieve. So I've tried both ways, and the best fun I ever had was when I learnt to do the slow progression and pick the days where I'm going to say, today's a freebie. If someone wants to go an extra 2 hours and make it a 6-hour ride, as long as I'd already done, 3 hours, 4 hours in the build-up before that holiday period. So you need to be almost pre-seasoned.